Hola, buen dia. Welcome to the World Languages Department. I'm Scott Stalder-Skermutzos.
Et bonjour, je m'appelle Madame Chin. Madame Chin, je suis prof de français. And we have our special guest with us, Johnny, Michaela, and Ruby. Hello, bonjour, Johnny, Michaela, and Ruby.
I have been at Sequoia High School since 2009, and I love the community. I love the school. We have a really strong department with very experienced teachers, both native speakers and people who learned their languages that they teach as a second language. And we collaborate really well. We're really a good, strong department. When we find new strategies, we share, and we're really excited to welcome your students to our department also.
Oui, et moi aussi, I have been at Sequoia now for 13 years. Holy cow, lucky 13. And yes, it's our distance learning year, or hopefully only semester. Um, Sequoia is such a fantastic place, and from admin to teachers to students, everyone is so friendly. And when they say our tag phrase is a place of friends, it really is. So, anyways, excited to have you guys here today. Thank you for joining us.
So there are many, many benefits of learning a language. You can all, I'm sure, think of some, and they range. When you learn about another culture or another language, you learn about your own culture and language at the same time. There are all kinds of things in the language or in your own culture that you don't recognize because it's just part of your everyday life and what you live. And when you uh, compare it to other languages and cultures, that becomes a richer experience for you. Also, of course, everyone loves to travel, and being able to speak the language, it brings you in a different level with the people there. From my experience, having been to France, if you just try a little, make an attempt, start a conversation, people will help you, and they'll help you in English to make sure it all works. And so we always instill in our students to take the risks, go for it, and use the language. And then, of course, most or many students are looking to fulfill their A to G requirement of having a minimum of 2 years in the language and recommended 3. And of course, the competitive nature of universities, you want to go above and beyond wherever you can. And then, of course, you get credits for high school for graduation. And then if you're doing the IB diploma, the full diploma, then you will definitely need to pursue IB classes in foreign language, in French or Spanish. And then it's one of those things where you can have a ton of fun. If you're speaking, listening, reading, writing, you can do that in many different ways, with songs, with videos, with presentations, with group work, with partner work, and all of that goes toward your goal of learning language. So at Sequoia, we have really 2 languages, but 3 tracks. We have Spanish, French, and then Spanish for native speakers. And I'll go over a little bit more of, or I'll have Madame Chin go over the French program.
Yeah. Okay, so the French program sequence, there are essentially 2 paths. So usually if you come in with no prior knowledge of French, you enter into French 1, which is really nice because you're with a whole bunch of other freshmen and everyone is just learning together. There are a couple of sophomores, juniors, and seniors in the class for those who just were like, I'd really love to start learning French. At the end of ninth grade, then you have a conversation with your French teacher. And we talk about, well, what's better for you to go into French 2-3 ICAP or to go into French 2? If you choose to go into 2-3 ICAP, that then puts you on the IB path, where your 11th and 12th grade year, you'll be in French 4 IB and then French 5 IB. If you choose to go into French 2, then you would continue in French 3 and then in French 4.
In the Spanish program, as I said, there are 3 ways you can go. So the majority of 9th graders are in Spanish 1 or 2 native speakers. There are some 9th graders that start in 2, and that's great. They had enough experience before that they feel advanced instead of taking 1. If you're in Path A, it's a simple 1, 2, 3, 4 that you would logically follow. For Path B, that takes you toward IB. So you would start in level 1, then take 2-3 ICAP as a sophomore, and then IB year 4 and IB year 5, which we have higher level and standard level for those classes. You could also, if you started in 2, as a freshman. You could take 3 as a sophomore and then still go into IB. It's not unique to have to take 2-3 ICAP for IB. And then in native speaker classes, if you start in 2 native speakers as a freshman, you'll be with mostly freshmen. Then you take 3 native speakers as sophomore, and then IB year 4 as a junior, and year 5 as a senior. If you start a little late, there are some students that will start 2 native speaker as a sophomore. And if they have the skills and ganas, they can just skip 3 native speakers and head into IB. And then we also have 4 native speakers for those students that started a little late and still want to continue with Spanish for native speakers, but are not able to enter IB as a junior. IB has to start for languages as a junior and then continue to senior year, which is the testing year.
And just if I could add on a little side note, so Mr. Stalder saying exactly correct. So if you do come in with some knowledge of French, then all you should do, just email me and we can give you an assessment to let you know if you can skip any levels. Merci. Okay, so then we have some different cultural opportunities to travel and or host. So every year, except maybe this year, every year Sequoia hosts a group of students from France. They come stay with our Sequoia students to do a to do a exchange. And then every other year we bring students to France where we spend 4 glorious days in Paris, and then we do a 10-day homestay. So these are some pictures from our last trip in 2018. And then the picture on the left, the picture on the left are 2 students standing at the top of the Notre Dame before it sadly burned. And right now they are currently reconstructing it. We did have to cancel the trip from last summer because of COVID, but hopefully those students will be able to go next summer. Merci, Scott. Some other opportunities for fun. We, of course, try to have as many field trips as possible, given the constraints of the class schedule. But these are some pictures. Every year, San Francisco has a film festival where they bring directors and actors and other people who are involved in French film. And sometimes we are lucky to go and watch these films and speak to the actors or the directors. So this is a picture of when we brought our students to the French Film Festival. And of course, we love to eat in the French program. So these are pictures of us cooking in the kitchen, in the gourmet Sequoia kitchen. And we make lots of different things from madeleine to crêpe to quiche, etc. And then the last picture is our yearly field trip to downtown Redwood City, where we go visit La Tartine, and the kids get to practice their French and order in French and take that as their test instead of a written test. So hopefully we will be able to do all of that next semester. Merci. All right, so now I actually wanted to highlight Ruby, Johnny, and Michaela. So can you guys introduce yourselves really quickly, and what middle school did you go to?
I'm Michaela Miller, and I went to Central Middle School.
Hi, I'm Ruby, and I went to Garfield.
Hi, I'm Johnny, and I went to Central Middle School as well.
So first and foremost, I just wanted to thank you guys for joining us today. I really appreciate your help. I have a few questions that possibly 8th graders or their parents might have for you. So far, what have been your experiences so far in your language class at Sequoia? And feel free to just chime in whenever you're ready.
So my experience has been interesting just because it's like online learning, and I've also never really taken a language class ever before, and I kind of like it because I somewhat get to interact with the students in class, and yeah, it's pretty good.
Only kind of like it, huh?
I think it's really inclusive as well. It feels like it just feels very inclusive with all the students and all the teachers and everything.
That's great to hear. How about you, Johnny?
Well, I felt really connected with the class, and it was very fun. And the breakout rooms are fun too, and Madame Chen did a very good job.
Oh, that just warms my heart because connectedness through distance learning is not easy. So it's definitely something that I try to focus on. Merci beaucoup. Okay, second question. Why did you choose to study French?
I chose to study French because since I already speak English and Spanish, I decided to like go for French since I was kind of interested, and yeah, I mean, it just kind of caught my attention.
Merci.
I took French as well because a class actually came in and told us how much fun French is. And I do have family members that speak French as well. So
Cool. So Michaela, when you were at Central, you had a presentation during 7th grade from some of our Sequoia students.
yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So there were like a couple of them that came in and they talked about how about the trips that they got to go on, and they showed a couple pictures. And then they also said about Spanish, there's a lot of students and it can feel behind sometimes because some people might be getting it more than you are. And they said French is it's very like it's just a lot smaller than Spanish is, and it's just a little bit easier.
Okay, and you took Spanish in middle school, is that correct, Michaela?
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
took Spanish in
you
middle school.
switched. Okay, so yes,
Yeah.
definitely what Michaela's talking about. The French program is considerably smaller. Mr. Stalder, do you know how many Spanish teachers there are at Sequoia?
I believe there are 7.
Okay. 7 for all, right. And so at Sequoia, there's actually only 3 French teachers. And so we all get to know all of our students really well. And then when they're done with me in French 1, I pass them on to Madame Arfi, who is fantastic, who then passes them on to Madame Couton, who is also fantastic. So so what Michaela's talking about, it's a much smaller program. Merci. And Johnny?
I took French because my whole family speaks French, and I just thought it would be also cool to learn a third language. Uh, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's so cool. Okay, so Johnny and Ruby, you guys already speak 2 languages, so you've chosen to learn a third. And Michaela, do you speak another language by any chance?
No, I just speak English.
Oh, you know what? There's lots of love for our Anglophones out there. Me too, Michaela. When I learned French, I only spoke English as well. Okay, super, merci. All right, and the last question, what advice do you have for any incoming 9th graders about learning a language at Sequoia?
Advice I'd give to new incoming 9th graders is to just like, if you're scared of picking French, don't be scared. It's really, you'll get the hang of it because your teachers will support you, they'll help you, and I'm sure Spanish teachers will too.
My advice is also just like think of the positive, and you're with a bunch of other 9th graders, so you'll have a lot of help as well. And it also helps because then you can, if you don't take a language now, you have to take it eventually. So might as well start freshman year, then start junior, sophomore, something like that. So
Good point. Johnny?
My advice would to feel very connected to the class, like feel like sorry.
No, you're fine.
My advice would be to
Yeah, so you're
feel
saying,
like connected to the class
yeah, so how do you
because it would
how do you
open like
feel
a lot of
connected?
opportunities for you.
But how do you feel connected? Like, how does that just happen? Like, what are you
Like
doing?
interact with the student, with your classmates and the teacher.
I see what you're
It
saying.
would like really make you understand the language.
yeah,
Okay.
and if you're online next year, like open up your camera because that like makes you feel more inclusive with the class.
Turn on your camera.
Yeah.
What? Although I hear word on the street is that you guys only turn your cameras on in French. Is that true?
That's very true.
Yeah.
What? To see Mr.
Very
Stalder.
true.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Thanks so much. Thank you guys. You guys did a fantastic job. And of course, if for any of the 8th graders or 8th grade parents out there, if you have any questions, you can please feel free. You can, would it be okay if they have questions, Ruby, Johnny, and Michaela, that they, I pass your information? No, not I pass your
100%.
information on, but they can ask me and then I can ask you guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for
Cool.
sure.
Merci. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Stalder. Let's go on to the next slide. Oh, so here is this was a senior project that they just completed during distance learning. So let's take a look.
Bonjour, si vous regardez cette vidéo, vous réfléchissez à la langue que vous allez apprendre au lycée.
Et si vous allez à ce point, il y a deux choix, l'espagnol ou le français.
Voici un,
2, 3, 4, 5 raisons pourquoi le français est mieux que l'espagnol.
nous voulons dire 5 raisons pourquoi vous devrez apprendre le français. D'abord, tu toutes les professeurs du programme de français sont gentils et accueillants.
Elles comprennent que le lycée est la première fois que la plupart des élèves apprennent une deuxième langue. Bonjour.
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 Chou. Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjouri. Bonjour.
Non, Dave. Bonjour.
Alors, les profs sont typiquement gentiles.
Elles restent après les courses.
Elles sont disponibles pendant le déjeuner.
Et elles sont toujours prêtes à répondre aux questions.
Anglais et français ont les mêmes racines.
Cela signifie qu'il y a beaucoup de mots similaires.
Donc, vous aurez moins à mémoriser.
Dave, à ton avis, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire le mot parade en anglais?
It means parade. C'est vrai. Et ce mot espagnol? Ou parade again.
Non, ça signifie posta.
Allez, Dave. Aïe, y arriver.
Donc, vous pouvez apprendre un peu de français ou vous pouvez mémoriser l'espagnol dans son intégralité.
C'est comme vous voulez.
Dans le cadre du programme français, vous pouvez découvrir la culture française.
Vous pouvez penser que cette langue et cette culture, c'est juste les baguettes et les croissants. Et les gens qui disent oui, oui.
Bon, ouais, c'est vraiment juste ça.
Et vous aurez aussi l'occasion d'écouter de la musique française, regarder les films français, manger des crêpes, aller au centre-ville de Redwood City pour manger encore une fois, aller dans la cuisine de Sequoia pour manger encore une fois. Et est-ce que j'ai dit manger des crêpes? Bien sûr, manger d'autres choses aussi. Et le meilleur, tous les 2 étés, des élèves du programme français voyagent en France pour 2 semaines.
On visite des sites touristiques à Paris et après, on reste pendant 10 jours avec une famille française.
Pour des personnes qui disent que l'espagnol est plus utile, où est-ce qu'on parle français?
France, Canada, Burkina Faso, Togo, Senegal, France, Madagascar, Canada, Cameroon, France, West Africa, France, France.
Pour ça, espagnol.
Merci et nous espérons que vous nous rejoignez dans le programme.
Merci beaucoup à tous d'avoir regardé.
Et de nous tous à Sequoia, on espère vous voir à l'année prochaine. Ciao, merci.
On se casse.
Mr. Stalder, I'm sorry, it's a little tongue-in-cheek.
No, it's great. We got it. Well,
Those kids. Okay, thank you so much. Actually, there's one more. There was one more. Thank you. Oh, no, not again. Okay, so merci beaucoup. And Mr. Stalder, do you have anything you want to add?
Gracias por su atención. Y si tienen alguna pregunta, any questions, comments, clarifications about the paths or entry, just send me an email at scarmuzos@seq.org for Spanish or in general.
Yes, and if you have any questions about the French program specifically, feel free to email me at kathin@seq.org. Merci.
Adios. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Michaela, Ruby, and Johnny. Thank you.
Merci.
Merci.
Thank you all. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.